What's good, everybody? I know you missed us. Welcome back to our passion project. We call it 90 Day Our Way with Coach and the Kid. It's our homage to the greatest reality show on television today, 90 Day Fiance. Now, we're not going to recap the last 2 weeks. It would be like 8 shows. So we're going to recap the storylines from this week, and I'm sure that we'll hit on what's happened the last couple of weeks. But Cody, how are you? I know it's been a busy week for both of us, or 2 weeks, I guess. I know you've missed this show, though. I know you're craving for 90 Day Fiance talk tonight.
Well, it's exactly the way you put it, Coach, because we try and get away and we try and stay busy. We try and do other projects, but we keep coming back to 90 Day Fiance. So here we are to talk about these main storylines. And hey, man, I love doing the show with you, so I can't wait.
Oh, me too. They just keep pulling us back in. I tell you what, both these shows, 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way, 90 Day Happily Ever After, they've been so good, Cody, that we've left the B90 Strikes Back pretty much off our podcast because I just don't have time to watch every single new episode. And I still have not lost faith in getting a couple of the key players in the 90 Day Fiance family onto the show. It's going to happen. They just have to trust us. And once they trust us, then I think they'll come on and do the show with us. But without further ado, it is time for the main event.
The 90 Day Our Way main event.
All right, here we go. So I would be remiss if I didn't put the number one storyline this week, Cody. We're going to Ethiopia. We're going halfway around the world to the ugliest crier in the history of reality television. So Ariela, her mother, has now left. She has spent all of one day with Binyam, who I refuse to call baby. I will not call him baby like she does all the time, and I cringe. I want to throw something through the TV screen every time she calls him baby. And it begs the question, what is she going to call the baby when the baby comes, when she calls her boyfriend baby? I can't quite figure that out. But all of a sudden, there's no apartment ready. He says, give me a week. And so they go to see new apartments, and they're way too expensive for him. They're about $1,400 US. And, you know, she's very privileged. Her parents, doctor, nurse. And she's like, hey, what's the big deal? You and I live in places at $1,400. That's pretty much a cheap apartment, not in Ethiopia. And Binyam says, I only make $500 a month with my, count 'em, 4 jobs. Now, what did you make when she started crying and her face got all crinkled up and I couldn't even take it? I said, what did she expect to happen when mom left on the jet plane and left her back in Ethiopia? It's what we've been talking about. Don't have the damn baby in Ethiopia. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know what was uglier, Coach, the crying or his cousin's apartment that he thought they were going to move into. Literally paint buckets everywhere. He's just like, yeah, we're just going to move in. This is where we're going to live. It's way cheaper. It looks way cheaper. And also, a very irresponsible job of that broker to bring them to that apartment. She knew damn well they couldn't afford that apartment. What are you doing? Just getting her hopes up. Obviously, she was going to cry when they got in the car. I mean, great scripting, I guess you could call it, or timing, but damn. Ugly cry, ugly apartment, just not a great scenario. And Coach, where are they going to put the baby? What corners are going to go in? You know, that's more from your generation than it is mine, but that's where it was for me.
That is the biggest thing. When you're going to have a baby, you've got to have someplace clean to put the baby. You have to have someplace clean to put the food for the baby. You have to have someplace clean to sit to feed the baby. And also, when these women count on these guys, whether it's Jehoon, whether it's Binyam, to have things set up before they move their lives halfway around the world, to me, that shows a complete lack of foresight and understanding what your guys are capable of. It's not the United States. These are not American men that have jobs potentially that can make 6 figures like what they are used to here. These are countries that jobs are few and far between, much less jobs where you make a lot of money. So Ariela, I blame her. And we're going to bring this couple back in one word because we've got more to talk about with them. But Binyam is at a point where he can't believe what's about to happen to him again. And we're going to address that coming up in one word. But our second group couple in our main event tonight. Oh, you got to go with good old Colt and Jess. So Colt's back with mom, living in Las Vegas. He misses Jess, and in classic Colt fashion, he says, I want Jess to come and visit, but there's a few things I haven't told her. And he is quickly becoming my least favorite character on the entire franchise because I believe he loves the attention. I believe he loves being on the show. And I'm begging him to hit a gym just one time. Just go to a gym one time before you start acting like you're this big ladies man. So we find out, Cody, that Vanessa, who's just friends with Colt, who's very attractive, by the way, she has now moved in. She needed a place to stay. She's going through a divorce, which we didn't find out until this past episode. But here comes Jess, comes to visit. Everything's all good. They go out. And then why don't you pick up the storyline from there on the bombshell that Jess dropped on Colt that she found out he was doing?
So we won't even address the poor planning here by Colt, but picks her up. They go to a cat cafe. They both love cats. It's going to be a great moment. Wrong, because she sits across the table and goes, I have screenshots of women that you've sent dick pics to.
Whoa. What did you just say?
Exactly.
What did Colt do?
Colt was sending dick pics to multiple women, and she has the screenshots to prove it. And on top of that, they weren't just scenarios that he was finding himself in. It was just random, unsolicited, good morning, bloop sent.
You and I mean, let's be honest. We don't have trouble getting, the female kind to go out with us, right? But we've also been on a dating app or two during the pandemic because, quite frankly, how else are you supposed to meet a partner? I've never met one, and I've had a lot of women that I've matched with. Not one has ever requested a dick pic from me. Not one. And I've never woken up going, you know what? I think I'm going to send one today. I haven't done that either. And so for Colt to sit here and act like all of these women, 8 to be exact, wanted a picture like this. And then how in the world did Jess get these screenshots? I mean, were these women posting them on their Instagram? Were they putting them up on TikTok? Were they putting them on Snapchat? How did she get them? That's what I want to know. Or were these women clued into the fact that Colt does this to get attention on the show, and they sent Jess on social media these pictures? What do you think happened?
I mean, Coach, all that needs to be said is he got in trouble with something that does rhyme with TikTok, whether that's for the storyline or for just bad circumstance. I think that he does play into the storyline. I think that he tries to make his own narrative and make himself interesting and get that little bonus every time he's on the show. So that's just outlandish behavior.
It really is. We found out that when they're on an episode, they get about $1,000. So they have to create these storylines to get them in every episode because they can make 10 to 20 grand a season, which for a lot of these people is a lot of money because most of them don't have jobs, especially those that go to other countries. I think Colt is one of, and I want to give him credit for this because anytime you are comfortable in your own skin, confident in your own skin, and you don't care what anybody else thinks about you, I applaud people like that. With that being said, he never should have worn a what do they call those bikinis in
Speedo.
Brazil? Speedo. I never can unsee that in my head ever again. But he did that. And apparently, Larissa liked him enough to marry him. Jess loves having sex with him because she has said it 1,000 times on the show. So clearly he's doing something right and something well. And again, that's an image that I just can't get out of my head. I can't wait to find out in a couple of months because the show's going to go on hiatus if Colt and Jess actually work out. Because as much as I don't want to admit it, Cody, I need Colt in my life. I need him to make me feel better about myself. So Colt, please keep doing stupid stuff so you can make it into our main event. All right, Cody, it's that time of the show that we've got to tell, well, pretty much whoever we want, it's time to grow up. It's time to look at a situation and say, enough's enough. It's time for you to grow up. Our first storyline Tim and Melissa. And for those people who have never listened to the show before, or never watched 90 Day Fiance, our friend Tim had this beautiful girlfriend from Colombia, right? I always get the countries messed up. Colombia. So she was living in the United States, cute as a button, and they started dating. She moved back home. She was going to come visit. He cheated on her. She found out through social media. He's an idiot. We know that. But now she goes back home, and Tim has moved his whole life there, although he kept his apartment or house, and he kept his job just in case it didn't work out. So we picked up the storyline, Cody, with Tim trying to find out how he can get a job and earn some money because he's blowing through his savings quickly. And they said, you know what, it'd be quicker if he got married to Melissa, and because then the law here is okay, he's committed and he's in it. So he goes to meet her for a drink, and this is where the grow up part starts because she has driven me nuts since the moment he stepped foot on foreign soil that she has raked him through the coals over this cheating that he did. Get over it. You're a half a world away. So she says the one line that I despise that women say to men when we're just trying to do something nice. He says, I'm sure you're not looking forward to marriage. And she goes, I'm not even thinking about it. That didn't even cross my mind. Really? This guy just moved here for you to Colombia. At least we think it's Colombia. So then she looks at him and she goes, I didn't ask you to do that. I didn't ask you to come here and give up everything back home. I didn't ask you to do. Really? You didn't ask him. You knew he was coming. He didn't surprise you. He told you, I'm coming to save the relationship. In her mind, I think she said, I'm going to bring him down here. I'm going to bust his chops so hard that either it wants to come back or he's going to be like a little puppy. And when women say it to me, I say, you got to grow up. Are you tired of Melissa at this point? Because I want Tim just to go back home.
Oh, Coach, throwing to me? I didn't ask you to do that. I mean, the craziest thing about it is you have to do so much to make Tim a sympathetic character, and yet here we are feeling bad for him and telling him that he's the one that needs to cut bait. I mean, if you would have told me a couple weeks ago this is how I'd feel about him and his crazy decision to tell the entire family that he cheated on their daughter, which being in a foreign country was just a terrible decision. So for this to end up the way it is right now is absolutely shocking to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm just appalled. And yeah, I think he needs to cut bait and just head home.
Oh, I would have been out. I mean, I would have been out. Well, first of all, I never would have gone there because she gave him so much grief before when they were just doing FaceTime. Why the hell would you ever go down there? I mean, there's a lot of cute girls. He lands, they call him fat right from the jump. Then she says, I've got to tell my dad. He says, you know what? Let me, because it's my fault. I did it. So let me tell your dad. Are you an idiot? What in the world? At some point, you chose to cheat on her, so you should choose to let her stay. She's in another country. She's not next door. She's not down the block. She's in South America. Let her stay there. I'm over this punching him in the face every move he makes over this cheating. And we still don't know how bad the cheating was. I know women say there's never layers of cheating. There absolutely are layers of cheating, right? If you're looking at somebody, and we'll get to Angela and Michael in a minute, that's not cheating. Some women think that it is. If you send a suggestive text to me, that's not cheating. A lot of women think it is. So it all depends on your perspective. But at some point, Tim, you kept your job for a reason. She's never going to let you go. Melissa's parents, listen to the coach and the kid. Grow up. Okay, next. Oh, this is a 7-year relationship in the making. And I had no idea, Cody, that this started back in 2013. Sumit and Jenny, our favorite Indian American couple. And Sumit, who we know has been trying to get a divorce, this takes for a while, and we've talked to the brother and everything like that. It all comes to a head this episode, Cody. And his parents have agreed to sit down and talk with him about his relationship with Jenny. Now, here is where it gets very interesting. We find out from the parents themselves, they're talking on camera, that in 2013, she came to visit. They thought they were Facebook friends. She stayed in a room on the 3rd floor of their house. Sumit would go up in the middle of the night, in Jenny's words, they would bang, Then he would slide back down into his bed. His parents didn't even know the difference. Now I'm thinking she probably stayed for a week? Cody, she stayed for 4 months. 4 months. So at what point did you still think that they were friends? She's 61 now. So what 54-year-old woman travels to India, stays in your house for 4 months, and you don't think that she's banging your son? Your thoughts?
I mean, how thick are the walls in houses in India? Because, I mean, that's insane. For them, there's a reason that she had to be there. I mean, I'm not saying they're out there being like rabbits, but, I mean, you're staying there for 4 months. There's got to be a pretty good amount of volume there as far as being Facebook friends is concerned. I mean, you know, I had my days in college and there was plenty of Facebook friends to go around. And so you can just only imagine that over those 4 months, someone had to have been knocking.
Had to be. And Jenny even said, she kind of was laughing when she was talking about it. She's like, yeah, Submit would come up. He would come in. We would lock the door. We would do our business. And then he would walk away. She goes, it was great. It was great. And so they literally never got caught. But here's the issue, and here's why they have found themselves in our grow up category this week. Because the parents, now 7 years later, after an arranged marriage gone bad, after all of this, Sumit still wants to be with Jenny. He's in love with Jenny. Yes, she's double his age, but 7 years? They've been together for 7 years. And they're saying she's too old for him. She shouldn't be with him. She can't give him children. Well, guess what? It's not your call anymore, mom and dad. And if this would have been Cody 7 months, okay, I might have been on their side. But when I found out that it was 7 years, sometimes the heart wants what the heart wants. And at this point, Submit and Jenny, let them be together, and then everybody can be happy. And I wonder, too, Cody, do you think there's some money at stake here that he would be on the outside looking in if he goes against his family? Because he's really trying hard to keep them on his good side. I wonder if there's more than what we know.
Possibly, and you only don't know because of the cultural differences. And, you know, if we look back on a couple episodes ago when they were looking at apartments and, you know, the cow had to come in and, you know, have its own little ceremony. And so maybe there's some
I forgot
that
about
just because if that wasn't the case, why wouldn't they just be together and move to America? You know, like, it's not an ideal situation being where they are in India. Not to, you know, sit here and crap on India. I have friends who are from India in different countries, and, you know, but that seems to be the reality that would be a lot easier for them. So I do think that there's probably something at stake for Sumit here.
You bring up a great point. I've been to India traveling with the WWE, and it's not insulting the country to say that it's not America. And you can pretty much say that about any country, to be honest. There's a reason that everybody around the world wants to live in the United States. Facts. And India, you can't drink their drinking water. You got to have bottled water. Their food doesn't always sit well with your system. There's a lot of negatives. But apparently Jenny wants to live there. I hadn't even thought about the reverse. You bring up a great point. I hadn't even thought about why don't they come to America and live? Because I would think she would marry him in a heartbeat once he gets divorced to the wife in India. And so he could get a K-1 visa or whatever the visa is, the marriage visa, and they could live here and there wouldn't be an issue. It's got to be a lot of money at stake. That's all I can believe. Because why else would they continue to go all through this? And in the promos, and we'll hit on it at the end of the show, what we're going to see come October is going to be very, very interesting when it comes to these two. All right, our final couple in Grow Up, Kenny and Armando. And, of course, we're not telling Kenny and Armando to grow up. They're our favorite couple. They are our favorite couple on any of these shows. The daughters come down, they get engaged, and we pick it up on the episode this week where the daughters have to leave. And I don't know that I've ever seen a gay man who has children have more support from their children than what Kenny has. It's a beautiful thing to see. And they're like, listen, they're leaving and they're getting ready to go pick up Armando, who has, I believe his daughter's 8. And Kenny's daughters say, listen, everything you taught us, everything you did for us, do for that little girl now. You go do for that. It was a beautiful moment. It was an awesome moment. So the daughters leave, and now they start to make the trek, a 4-hour drive to meet Armando and pick up his daughter. We see in the future clips that the dad won't even come out to meet them. At this point, I'm done with Armando's parents. I mean, you're in your 70s, for God's sake. At what point does this not matter? And your son matters. And clearly you had to put his parents in grow up because their son is finally happy. He's already done the marriage thing. He already tried not to be gay, like a lot of gay men do. They say it's not okay to be gay, so I'm going to get married to a female. My sister did it, Cody. She married a man. And after 12 years, she said, I'm just not happy because I'm a lesbian. I'm a gay female. And now she couldn't be any happier. So at some point, the parents have to say, and my parents said, fine, this is what it is. My mother goes to gay pride parades with my sister to this day. So I've had it with Armando's parents. And at some point, don't you think they need to grow up?
I mean, isn't it just such a juxtaposition of generations there? Because the 70-year-old grandparents are so against it and so stark cold, but 60 years their junior, they're fine. They have no trouble accepting that that's the reality. And it just kind of shows you how differently the culture has changed over 3 generations, and it's just deplorable. You're supposed to love unconditionally. As you said, your mother loves your sister unconditionally, and that's what she would do regardless of what her decision was. So it's just one of those things that, as you said, Kenny and Armando are our favorite couple. So it's tough for us to sit there and see somebody not love them. So it's terrible to see. And I do think the parents just need to grow up.
It hurts. I've really become very emotionally invested in these two. I want them to work. I want their lives to work. But I guess we could bring up the same thing that we just discussed with Sumit and Jenny, Cody, is why can't they come live in the United States? What is keeping them in Mexico? They're not halfway around the world. They're on the border of the United States. Why can't they come here to live? That's my question. And hopefully we get that answer. Maybe it's a kid issue. Maybe it's not a job issue because they moved to a place that neither one of them had jobs. They were just going to be accepted there the best. So I don't know what the answer is, but I do know this, that the family for Armando, and what hurts the most is when he sees Kenny's family. And he says on the show, he goes, I wish I had that. When I see his family, I wish I had that. And that breaks my heart, because how do you go through life not having – I've never had to experience that. I've never had to experience not having a family that doesn't support me or my lifestyle. So, but I can only imagine how much that would hurt. Not being able to call your dad, talk to him, not being able to call your mom, talk to her. I mean, come on. So Armando's parents, listen to Cody and the coach. Grow up. Okay, it's time for our favorite segment of the show. Cody, you read us a situation, and I'm going to give you a one-word answer for said situation. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go, Coach. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Baby's got a problem. What's Binyam going to do if he loses another kid to the U.S.?
Whoa. Did you just call Binyam baby? We have rules on this show, son. Rules that you live by or you die. No, I'm kidding. I do actually feel bad for Binyam, but my one word is wall. Like, if you bang your head against the wall once, over and over and over, why would you do it a second time, over and over and over? For fans that don't know, Binyam already has a kid with an American woman that he married, and she left his ass and went back to the United States. He's now gotten another American woman pregnant. She's not happy in Ethiopia, and the baby's coming, and she's ready to bail and head back to the United States. And guess what? In this situation, the mother has all of the rights. If that baby gets on U.S. soil, there is nothing that Binyam can do about it. I cannot even imagine my two beautiful babies that I'm with every single day, that are the air that I breathe. If somebody took them away from me halfway around the world and there's nothing I can do about it, stop being with American women. Stop. Don't do it anymore. Because I don't read the spoilers. I know you don't read the spoilers. I don't know what's happened to them, because this, what we've seen is like 9 months ago. But I know that she has a C-section. I know that she did have the baby in Ethiopia. I don't know anything more than that. But stop banging your head against my one word, a wall. Next.
Speaking of not knowing anything more than that, I mean, Andre is as cagey as it gets. Elizabeth and her family are trying to figure out what they can. Coach, one word.
Justified. Her family is absolutely justified. It's the first time they've ever been to Moldova. And they get there, and his friends are way more welcoming than he is. And then at one point in this week's episode, the brother, the dad, the sister, they call his friend, who he was a cop with, and said, listen, we need to know more. The friend is like this. The friend is like, I'm not saying anything. If Andre doesn't want you to know, I don't want you to know. But essentially, he tells them that Andre was one of the good guys. And since he was one of the good guys, he had to leave because the dirty cops wanted to do something to him. It was a very shady story. I didn't believe all of it. To be honest with you, I didn't understand all of it. And then he just got very tight-lipped, and he wouldn't tell them anything. And if somebody's marrying my sister, I best want to know, and they're from Moldova, I want to know why they had to bail and go to Ireland, and that's where they met. And now he's back in Moldova getting married for the second time to my daughter. You're damn right I want to know. You're damn right I want to know if somebody's going to be chasing after you and putting my daughter's life in danger and my grandkids' life in danger. I should be able to ask those questions and not have you tell me to shut up and you're not going to tell me. So to me, my one word, completely justified.
Coach, speaking of justified, Asuelo and Kalani, they're having their problems, but it's based on immaturity, and Asuelo's family's even worse than he is. So one word for Kalani's situation.
Done. If I was her, I'd be done. It's easy. I mean, you've watched it, Cody. She's done everything she can. They wanted money. She said, let's get them presents. She takes him to visit the mother in Washington and the sister. She asked the sister, do you give money to send back? Sister said, it's none of your damn business. Then the sister tries to knock out Kalani, who's twice her size. And at every step of the way, our boy Asuelo is like, oh, you're stupid. You're an idiot. I hate you. It's like talking to a 12-year-old, and she even said that in one of the episodes. It's like dealing with three kids, three toddlers, and she's over it now. And she is now in this episode where you and I were 7 weeks ago. How the hell did she ever get to the point where she had 2 kids with this man? And I say man very loosely. I mean, one kid, that's a mistake. 2 kids, that's on purpose. And she now realizes all she's ever going to deal with him and the family is give me more and more and more and more. And she's not working. She stays at home. He's working part-time. He's making like, what, $500-600 a month? And they want him to give him $1,000. I mean, I would be done. Leave him, let him go back to Samoa, raise those 2 kids, and do what you do. But get out of that situation. Next.
I mean, Coach, it's a good thing that this is more your segment than mine. Angela and Michael have a joint bachelor party. Don't even get me started. So what's your one word?
You know what? My one word is thankful. If I was Angela, I would be thankful that I had a 31-year-old man, a young man who wants to be with me, and I'm 54, and at every single turn, all I do is bitch and moan and complain, and I want to talk to mama. I only respect mama, and mama better understand I'm not going to be submissive. You want me to be submissive? No, hell no, I'm not going to be submissive. Angela, you need to understand, girlfriend, you are not a catch. You are so far from being a catch that you can't catch what you are. And they go to a nightclub for a joint bachelor party, and his friends are like, hey, whatever. You know, we have to change a little bit, whatever. And they're sitting there, and at first they're having a good time, right? Music's going. She's twerking on him, which, again, is something I can't unsee ever. But then all of a sudden, and I think the way the camera shot it, you see this really hot Nigerian woman dancing with very little on, and you see Michael's head turn like this, and who wouldn't look at that? The chick was, at least from the angle I saw, was pretty hot. And, of course, Angela sees him looking, and she loses her stuff. We're leaving. We're out of here. Of course, puffing away on that cigarette, nonstop cigarette. She gets in the car, and she rails on him. And Michael never gets upset. He never yells at her. He never does anything. If I'm him, oh, come on. I would have cut this off so long ago. but she continues to act like she's the catch in this situation, and she's not. At some point, she's got to be thankful that this man still wants to be with her, which I don't believe is going to continue. It's been 3 years. It's time to cut it off, please. Last one, go.
Coach, you're out there near Silicon Valley. What'd you make of Eric's silicone decisions?
This storyline is so much fun. Larissa and Eric, they're back together, and Eric is such a devious, shady dude. And let's be honest, right? So Larissa was like, you know what? Our sexy time isn't what it used to be, and I believe it's because my breasts are not what they should be. So Eric agrees to foot the bill and loan her the money with interest. So as Larissa's friend drives her to the doctor, she basically says, Eric, you realize you're never getting this money back. Once you put the money into her chest and the liposuction, 2 things, by the way, you're never getting it back. The only way you get it back is by being able to fill them whatever you want. That's your payment. That's your payment. And he laughs at that as if he really believes that Larissa is going to pay him every dime back. But my one word for this entire situation, these entire 2, is disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Larissa has kids back home. Apparently, she doesn't want to be a mother to them. Eric, I think all he wanted to do was just have a pretty hot Brazilian chick around. And at some point, she's going to take every dime that he has. Or she's going to look like she wants to look like a Barbie doll, like the mannequin in the store. That's what she told the doctor. She showed him pictures of a mannequin. And I believe, Cody, it was 4 or 5 different surgeries she wants to get. And each one is a minimum 10 grand, 15 grand. So Eric's going to be out 50, 75 large with interest. Is he ever seen that money again, Cody? Come on.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I would never do this. And if she wants to walk away, go for it. I'll go find somebody that's already got him done. That's what I would do. That thing is an absolute disaster. But give me more Larissa and Eric. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Now, we always do this show in under 30 minutes, so we're right at the time right now. Cody, we're going to have a little bit of a hiatus. If there is a new show, we'll still do it every week. I think B90 might be on, but I know that they're kind of taking a month's break. But I looked at what is to come, and these stories, Brittany in Jordan, she has to go home, get the divorce done. I can't wait to find out there. What storyline are you looking forward to the most, picking things up in October?
I mean, it's got to be Asuelu and Kalani. I mean, how the hell are they going to be staying together this long? They've had so many kids, and there's so much involved in it. There's so much baggage, but I guess we'll see.
I guess we will too. I want to see what happens with Elizabeth and that former cop that she now calls a husband. I want to see the baby come in Ethiopia and how fast she gets that baby on a plane. Because let's not forget, you can't just put a newborn baby at 37,000 feet. They have to be a certain age before they're allowed to travel. So she might be stuck in Ethiopia. There's a lot of storylines we'll keep our eye on. And will Angela and Michael ever really tie the knot? We'll find out. If there's any new shows, we'll be back next week. If not, we'll be back in, let's say, a month. But stay tuned to our social media, and we'll keep you up to date on all of our stuff, 90 Day Fiance. Cody, I tell you what, with everything we have going on, this is like a breath of fresh air in my life. So thank you for doing the show the last several weeks, and we'll be back whenever it comes back. So it's really cool of you to do this show with me.
Hey, Coach, it's a pleasure as always. You know, we both bring a lot of positivity to the table, and sometimes in this weird pandemic and the way the world is, sometimes you just need to shut off and turn out the negativity, grab something positive. And for us, it's 90 Day Fiance, but this is 90 Day Our Way.
And that'll do it for Cody the Kid. I'm the coach. Enjoy the repeats and look forward to October. We love all of you. Check out, once again, 90 Day Our Way. That'll do it. See ya.